Coming up on the Straight Up R&D Podcast.
And it's sad because, we have the influx of migrants coming in. And, in Chicago, they're saying a lot of the gangs are starting to fight the migrants because, they're bringing their gangs in here. You know what I mean? They trying to hustle and they making their money however they want to sell drugs, whatever, control whatever areas. I understand. That's how it is. But now we're seeing a shift where I'm seeing black people hate those migrants. Like they're hating them in terms of now we want to go to war with these people. Now we're going to start, instead of shooting ourselves, which again, wrong is wrong. Shooting ourselves is wrong, whatever. But now it's an attack on them, right? We live in New York. We've been in New York. We got every culture is here. Right? And if we start as black people start hating another race, we're no better than white people that was hating us. Yo, what's good, everybody?
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to the Straight Up R&D Podcast. I'm your host, Rich.
I'm D.
And we got a special episode going on today.
Got a wild one.
It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. So get your drinks, get your popcorn, get your za. You know what I'm saying? Get something. But let me get through the regular schlingo. We're gonna give it to you real raw, uncut, straight up opinions based on motherfucking facts.
Facts, y'all.
All right. And the number one rule on this podcast is we do not give a fuck about your feelings, so you can keep that shit to yourself. All right.
At all.
So we're gonna get right into it. We got two special guests here. We got Zav, Kira. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to introduce yourself?
Y'all want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. My name is Xavier. Used to live in New York, live in Texas now. Working in tech. It's my wife, Kira. And at this point, I think we've been registered Republicans probably like 2 years now.
Nice. I got so much to ask already.
Yo, I love Texas, yo. I loved it out there. I was out there.
It is great. I've been having so much fun here, man.
I gotta come out there.
It is real nice. But yo, we gotta cut to the chase right now. You know what I'm saying? America's in a real. I don't even know how to say it. Like the times right now was just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like dead ass. So, hey, this election is wild. I want to start off with a debate. All right. What were your reactions after this debate, and who you think won the debate?
Yeah, quote unquote won. Like who?
You know what? I genuinely think Kamala won that debate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why I think Kamala won the debate was because Kamala sat there and prepared for probably 2 months before the debate came up. So she was ready with the scripted answers that they done gave her from ABC. And on top of that, Trump had to fight a 3-on-1. He wasn't prepared.
Exactly.
So I think Kamala won that debate because Trump wasn't able to get a word in edgewise. To the populace, I don't even think nobody cared like that she did or didn't. So it was, how do I put this? It wasn't really Trump's debate to lose, it was Kamala's to win. So Kamala came out and was like, this is my policy, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'll do for the economy, this is what I'll do for something. And it'd have been like, all right, cool. We understand where your platform is and what you're going to do. But they did interviews, I think MSNBC did street interviews right after the debate. And they propaganda network number one. And they did street interviews after the debate. And they were asking people, what do you think? And they're like, I don't even know what she want, what she gonna do, who she is. Like, people did not have a better idea of what Kamala wanted to do with the country after the debate. So she won the debate when it comes to if it was in a vacuum, sure. But it didn't really play out well for her when you've been vice president for 4 years and the whole country still don't know you.
I agree, man. Because look, this is how I said it. When I finished watching the debate, I agree. I'm like, Kamala won. But I feel like if you're a more informed voter, for instance, as I was watching the debate, I was like, she's lying. That's a lie. But
that she lied. I was telling my wife this. I was like, it's not that she lied. It's like, put it this way. If I told you the sky is blue and you were like, I bought this new vacuum today.
Yeah.
The moderators was lying. When they were like, there's not no 9-month abortions in any other state. I'm like, I live in New York City. I know a lot of girls up in my school and high school and went and did some stuff 6, 7, 8 months pregnant. I know that for a fact.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We all live in New York. We know you've probably seen a girl or two.
Yes.
You've seen it. So for that, my wife was watching reruns of I think it was Black Ink LA. I think it was. Compton, was it? And one of the females on there was pregnant, and I think something was the baby had some type of issue.
What happened was they had told her and her the father of her child that the baby might be born with spina bifida. And they asked them, like, hey, do you want to terminate the pregnancy? Like, you know, you have that option. Mind you, they're in California. Well, between maybe 7-9 months. And when I watch stuff like that, and then I look at, mind you, this was like, what, 2019 this episode came out. And I see stuff like that, and then I look at the political climate now, and I'm like, y'all don't even realize that everything that they're lying about, we already watched it on TV. We already saw that these things were happening.
People experienced
and you guys don't even realize it because at the time, before they started forcing politics into TV shows, the truth used to be out.
Right.
They can't block it out because it was a part of their everyday interaction that you're watching on TV.
So it's like when they came up lying about that, it's like, why would the moderator lie for Kamala? That's what people need to be looking for.
Because they all was a part of, they all was ganging up on him.
And then come to find out that the girl moderator, the female one, was her sorority.
Her sorority sister.
And it's like, how is this a fair debate in any aspect whatsoever?
How is that not a conflict of interest?
Yeah.
Like, how is she allowed to moderate that debate?
That should not even be allowed. Like, that's fucked up.
CNN was actually more fair than this one.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which is surprising.
You go on.
CNN be running down Trump and how they couldn't stand him for the past almost 8 years.
Facts. Well, they're losing ratings anyway. That's the reason. They need to cut it down the middle. They're losing ratings like crazy, so they gotta do something. But like you go on like Twitter now or even Facebook now, it's like CNN is pro-Trump propaganda. I'm like, what? It's like you can't convince them anybody at this point, I don't think, to vote for somebody else. Everybody is set in stone.
Right.
You think Trump would come out and say something stupid today, Kamala come and say something stupid today. We had both people for 4 years. We had the experience of both people for 4 years. And I think you said in the last podcast when the first question they asked her was, hey man, was it better 4 years ago under Trump or was it better under you? Well, I was just a girl once.
What my middle class family and this that I'm like, yo,
it makes no sense. And then the moderators never checked her on, like, hey, can you answer the question? If Trump went off on a ramble, which he can do sometimes, they'd be like, can you answer the question, Mr. Trump? Answer the question. They did not go back to her and say, okay, well, what's the answer to the question? What's it better? They never moderated the debate fairly. And then the thing about it too, here was one lie that I immediately caught out. She said, we're not planning on taking anybody's guns away. I saw you several times. You want to do an assault rifle ban?
2 weeks ago. She said it 2 weeks before that debate. She was up I forgot what type of event she was doing, but I think it was some type of pro-black event that she was doing. And she got up there, and then I think a pastor had asked her, would she be giving reparations? Wasn't it all Al Sharpton? Was that Sharpton?
Al Sharpton, yeah, it was.
She was going to do reparations for black people, and she said yes. That was the same place where she said that she was going to do red flag laws, she was going to do gun confiscations. This was the same place she said that. She went on Oprah after this saying, well, I own guns, I'm going to shoot somebody. But I still believe in
yeah, but you want to take everybody else's guns away. Like, wow, that makes sense.
She also said before that, prior, that she wasn't just going to do stuff for black Americans. Well, anything we do to help America in general will trickle down to help black Americans. And I'm like, I'm not understanding. You're sitting here, you're telling us you're black, you're telling us this and that.
I'm going to defend Kamala on that. Kamala ain't never told us she was black.
She never said that.
So Trump said that you ain't black. How you feel about that? She's like...
It's like, come on.
Shit.
I'm like, yes, I'm black. Next question, please. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, shut that shit down off the rip. What's so hard?
She can't. Every time they ask her, she just...
All right, so I gotta ask you guys now. The economy. Listen, we understand, we want shit to be, help black people, give us better services, et cetera, but like, I view it on the day-to-day shit. Like, the economy is the number one important thing.
Right.
We all live lives. We all have different paths, different jobs, different industries we work in, and we need the money. Who do you think is going to be best for the economy?
Trump. And the only reason I say this is because this is probably one of the biggest reasons I was voting for Trump, right? I'm going to tangent just a slight bit. I hate when I'm here, like, whenever I hear something Trump said or Trump's going to do from a Democrat, that's like, I've been a Trump supporter for almost 4 years now. If it ain't coming from me, why would you be telling me, the Trump supporter, you know about Trump's Project 2025 and this and that? Trump's not supporting Project 2025.
Exactly.
So the one thing that he had before he got voted out of office the first time was he was saying how he was going to pass the platinum plan. Now the platinum plan.
Oh my God.
Cover the frame.
So it wasn't just going to give out loans like they did for the PPP and shit. Like, you had to live in a impoverished neighborhood for a long period of time. You had to almost already had a business going or something like that. You had a lot of stipulations for it to go specifically to like lower class Black Americans. They had,
right.
In the platinum plan, they had what's it called? I think it was even specialized healthcare and stuff like that for Black Americans, because we go through a lot of different things on a healthcare basis than white people do. So we have high blood pressure, we have a lot of other things. So those things were going to get tackled in the platinum plan as well. So that was one of my biggest reasons, and even one of the reasons till now, I'm still like, all right, I'm going to vote for thing, because he has Agenda 47, but I'm pretty sure he still got like some of the platinum plan stuff back in his mind from when he was running before, and I would like some of them things passed at least.
And it wasn't even just that he did the platinum plan. I still presented it to both administrations. He presented it to the Biden administration, and he presented it to the Trump administration. He said Biden did not call him back. He even admitted blatantly. He said, I'm not really a fan of Trump, but Trump administration is the only administration that called me back.
Mm-hmm.
That was willing to sit down.
Too, on a macro scale, like if we just take race out of it, like the biggest problem of why the economy is in where it's in right now is because of what Biden did to all the oil pipelines in America.
Oh my gosh. Preach, brother.
We sat there, and I lived in Pennsylvania for 10 years. I watched when Obama shut them shits down the first time. I watched when Trump opened it back up, and I was watching people making $100,000, no education, working on oil fields. Like, people were flourishing under these things. When you cap energy like that, it raises the price on everything. We need gas and oil to farm. We need gas and oil to transport what came from the farm to the supermarket. We need it to drive to the supermarket. If all these things get more expensive, the food will get more expensive. The electronics will get more expensive. All these things are why these things are so high. When Trump comes in, we get the Keystone Pipeline up and running. We get some Alaskan drilling going. The prices will fall out the sky.
Drill, baby, drill.
It's a Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell been doing the Lord's work when it comes to working on this shit on the ass end. But if we can't do nothing when it comes to like the direct pricing of these things, the prices for things are not going to fall. They're not going to fall in our lifetime, at least, because we're going to get inflation down to 2%. That doesn't mean inflation stops. That just means now it's falling at just 2%. So he did what he had to do on that end. Now we have to do what we got to do to lower the prices by voting in somebody who open oil, do better, and like expand energy. He's going to work with Elon Musk. You know how much tax incentives you can get for driving Teslas, using Teslas as a battery pack. There's a lot of stuff you can do to expand energy that way and get prices cheaper within 3 to 5 years. But hey, man, the FAA right now is more focused on, not letting Elon fly, not letting Elon do a lot of things, because the weaponization of government at this point means more to them than to actual help people. At least with Trump's aspect, it was like, hey, man, if we give money to the people, they're going to pay taxes regardless. So, like, give them more money. Let's see what happens.
Exactly. And this is why I say Pennsylvania needs to wake up and actually see what's going to happen, because this woman has said time and time again that she's in favor of banning fracking. She wants to switch it now, but you can't say, oh, I don't want to ban fracking, but support the Green New Deal, which does what? Is in favor of banning fracking. That's why I think Pennsylvania is such a key state, because their economy is solely based off of fracking and on oil.
People fracking their backyard.
Drive past like a bunch of them in a 10-minute.
Yeah, people fracking their backyards. And then people don't realize that if we don't frack, if people in Pennsylvania don't frack, like the oil from the natural resources that occur there, they seep into water systems. They seep into like the actual like farmlands and stuff like that, and they have to pump these things out. If they pump them out to nowhere, they just become crude oil sitting on the side of the road. We're not using them for anything. So like by not fracking, you fucking up farmlands, you giving more expenses to farmers and stuff like that. Again, these things are increasing food prices, increasing grocery prices, increasing home prices. You can't transport wood plate from one place to one place if it costs like $200-$300 in diesel to do so. The house is gonna cost more money.
Yeah.
No.
When I used to do Instacart, not to interrupt, but between the time of when we shifted from Trump to Biden, I literally watched prices go up. As an Uber driver, when I would go, I would get groceries, I would see, and as I'm collecting these things for people, their amount of stuff they're getting is less and less and less, but the cost of what they're getting is going up. And I'm like,
Yeah, the inflation is ridiculous. Inflation is ridiculous.
Because he was ordering like the same thing off of Amazon every year. So he went back to like 2020 to check what the price was. It was about 3 times the amount of money but what he's spending now for the same thing he's been buying for the past 3 years.
Right.
So like, yeah, man, I think at this point we got one clear winner when it comes to the economy. I don't think when they poll people, I don't even think the Democrats who are blinded by whatever they're blinded by can lie about it. Like it's a 60-70% like advantage for Trump when it comes to the economy because we know what it was like. We know what 401ks look like. For Don Lemon to go around and tell people what their 401k look like.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a clown.
Don
He's a
Lemon's
straight up
clown.
clown. Straight up
He was telling
clown.
people, "Oh, the economy is actually doing great." It's like, open your eyes. The economy is not doing great. Don't let these people just come and lie to you about how the economy is great.
Tell that to an old lady, like she lives off of 401k. She would probably know if it was better 4 years ago now. Like this lady's like 70 years old, and he's trying to convince her 401k better now than it was then. Like how you're not paying her bills, you're not paying her finances. Like
it's the same people that's crying, oh my God, I can't afford childcare. I don't have enough time to myself. Train fare is going up, this and that or whatever. I can't believe it. Like, why can't I afford the simple things? Why is everything so hard? And I'm like, change who you vote for. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I think like at the last
Exactly.
minutes of the last one you did when it was like New York complained about this since I've lived there 20 plus years. That's y'all lived in New York, right? Ask your parents who was the best mayor in New York. When were they able to go outside, make some money, wear chains in New York? Who was the best mayor? I know y'all know.
Bloomberg. I'll go with Bloomberg, but my whole thing is this: New York City, we're so Democrat heavy. Like the city is what makes New York Democrat, right? You go upstate, it's a whole different world. You would think you in the South, honestly. Like, like it's different. You know what I mean? But
City, yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys because you guys brought up housing. Kamala Harris wants to do like the $25K for first gen families, immigrant families, to get discounts on buying their first house, right? So there's a lot of stipulations that go behind it, and I feel like a lot of people don't understand like how that's going to actually impact the economy, the housing economy, especially since we came off of COVID. We know the interest rates were low during the pandemic, obviously, because nobody had jobs and nobody was working. But now everything just ballooned up to the point where you can't, it doesn't even make sense to buy a home. So for you guys, do you think that this $25K for first gen immigrant children, right, to buy a house, do you think that is going to be any beneficial to the economy?
Let me answer a question with a question. If you know somebody who's coming by to buy some bud or something like that, and they had somebody gave them $25 more, you're not gonna charge them $25 more.
Of course.
So that's the simple thing of it right there. Like if somebody told me, if the government's saying they're gonna give you $25,000 to buy a home, if I'm a homeowner, I'm raising my home price by $25,000. You're gonna give me that money.
Yep.
So the home prices are gonna go up. Like I think like there's a lot of books like Rules for Houses and a lot of other stuff that will show you that things like price controls or when the government directly put themselves into like capitalist economies, these things don't work. Like I understand incentives, like you can have saving incentives and a lot of other things like that, but to directly like, all right, let me give you a cash infusion. Look how well that worked for COVID. We gave every business sort of a cash infusion for every business that put their name down, and we had Big Booty LLC getting sued. It's gonna happen the same way with that. People are gonna be buying houses out, and then think about it. There are people who came here who are immigrants or children of immigrants just like us, and they have money out their ass. How it makes them think that they won't monopolize this situation?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So one person going to buy 5 houses, but the government give me $25. I don't even need a down payment. I'm going to buy that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. And now the housing market, the quantity of houses in the market would be low because people are just going to be doing the same thing Zillow and BlackRock and the rest of them did on an individual scale more than anything else.
Exactly. And here's the problem I have with Kamala Harris talking about the 25K. She's marketing it as it's going to be available to all Americans. When I'm going back and forth with Democrats, they're saying, look, they want the 25K. What they're not, or what Kamala Harris is not really going on about, and what they're not realizing is for first-generation home buyers. So if your mom bought a house, granddad bought a house, grandma bought a house, you're out of it. Yep. Who are the people that's going to be eligible for this 25K down payment?
Brand new migrants.
Exactly. Exactly. Like,
how does that help How does that help citizens in this country?
It doesn't.
It does not.
Look at California.
Who's going to be the one paying the property taxes?
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Thank you. And then it's frustrating because these same people, they'll sit here and be like, oh, are you just jealous? Aren't your parents immigrants? Yeah, but mine's paid for their citizenship.
Yeah, they did this the legal way. They came the legal way.
Illegally.
You know what I mean? They pay their taxes. They do a lot of things. But even then, in that aspect, it's like this is what people that understand, right? One thing that didn't even make the news, I believe, is they're fast tracking now. Citizenships.
Right.
So even for people like I think my dad was actually denied citizenship under Obama like 3-4 times.
And that's the thing I want people to realize. How long it takes to get citizenship.
Yeah, it takes a very long time. It's a lot of checks and balances you got to go through to do it. And people are making it sound. What I find is pretty racist when people be like, oh, well, you're a migrant too, or you're a child of migrant. You should want this too. And it's like, no, we did this the right way. There's a right way to do things. I have no problem with migrants coming in the country. Use my door. I just use my door. Breaking into my window, crawling under my door. Use my door. It's not that hard.
Don't forget, though. Kamala's sitting over here talking about she want open border policy. First of all, she grew up in Canada. She was born in America and grew up in Canada. Can you just waltz up in Canada like that?
Canada denies people all the time because they have.
Deny you from coming in with a speeding ticket.
Exactly. Exactly. So then they're not letting you in. So then people will say we're racist because I'm like, if Canada has strict border policies, why we have to be the country to just let everybody just walk on in? Yeah. You can't do that in other countries.
And these countries aren't taking them back. Venezuela not taking these people back. They're not taking these people back. They're not taking them back because majority of the people that they let out at this point are criminals. Like Maduro had a whole speech on it. Yeah, man, we just letting criminals out in America. The streets are safe now. We let everybody go to bed. Like they had a whole thing. So at this point, when it comes to the 25,000 in the housing, it's going to be they try to do the same thing with less cover when it came to California. Right. You realize the really reason Gavin Newsom vetoed that bill and why Katie Hochul's not doing the congestion price in New York because it's an election cycle. Been an election cycle, then they're gonna pass this bullshit again. That's what they're gonna do. So it's really just smoke and mirrors when it comes to this type of shit, but it's not gonna benefit us at all. We already have a housing quantity problem, which will only get fixed when we drop oil and be able to transport wood and things more places. But we're not fixing any of these things, and we're trying to give away the rest of the home to children of migrants, if even that. Because then, think about it. It's a child of a migrant. People think migrants are just us or Haitians or Venezuelans. If a Ukrainian dude, after all the friggin' money we gave Ukraine, come over here and have a kid, that kid buying 20 houses.
Yeah.
If a Russian dude came over here with Russian money, he buying 40 houses.
Not only that, they brought a lot of those Ukrainians over here easily. They didn't have to cross a border. They didn't have to do that. They came straight into New York. They came straight into the country because, their country's under war. I understand, right? The people there, gonna need some place to live and survive. But that's a different aspect, right? But to actually have a border open where anyone from any part of the globe can come through, that is a major risk for the citizens that's there.
Process. No.
Me and Kira was watching this thing where they were going through all the events of the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. It was a bunch of videos and stuff. And I think what people didn't realize was prior to 9/11, this man Osama been making threats about this shit for almost 2 decades. I'm gonna blow the hell up out of America. I'm gonna blow the. He's been saying this for almost a decade, 2 decades before that shit happened. And I remember when I was a kid and it was happening, everybody was like, wow, could this, what, why, how? And it's like, you have a border open right now. There ain't probably one country that like us. And we letting everybody in. It's all, the CIA said it. The CIA, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security. I'm not making this up. It's only a matter of time for something like that big happen again. And I tell people all the time when it comes to New York, which one of the things that scared me, especially after the thing that happened over in London a few years ago, New York has the biggest, most unguarded piece of infrastructure in the world, which is the subway system. It take nothing for some doofus to walk down the Crown Heights or some other hole-in-the-wall entrance, take a train to 42nd and blow some shit up.
No, which is true.
And look, they tried, and I know you guys probably heard about this when they tried to put metal detectors in the subways and
put it in like special places.
Exactly, and I'm like, you can go to another stop.
42nd, nobody care who coming from the train from New Lots. Nobody care who coming from the train from Gun Hill Road. Get in one of them and they come somewhere, it's over.
Exactly.
There's nothing to stop it. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact of the matter is, New York wants to be a sanctuary city, letting in these type of people over and over and over again. With the amount of crime going on, it's just a matter of time. How many times does a shooting have to happen in a subway car? How many times does a stabbing have to happen waiting for a metro car? It's gonna happen irregardless. Like somebody's gonna get upset enough and they want to do some damage, and that's the prime location.
And they're not even arresting the people that are doing these crimes.
No.
Like, I'm hearing, I have a friend, we actually work together, Rich, and he told me that a friend of his father got pushed in front of a train by a man who should have been in jail. But
Wow.
they didn't keep him there. And then it's like, people tell me these things, and it's like, you guys are telling me these things. I'm hearing your experiences in New York, but then when I be like, all right, if you're not going to help and vote differently or try to change it, move.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? I love it here. New York is amazing. It's the same way it's always.
I call New York the Lotus Hotel.
Like,
it's like the Lotus Hotel in Percy Jackson. You get in and you don't want to leave. You get to 60 years old and it only feel like 2-3 years in there.
So here's the thing too with I always say the Democrat Party, they're the massive distraction, right? Because Kamala has, I don't even know how she's doing it. She's able to hypnotize people. When it's coming to the border situation, she's figured out a way to just blame it on Trump, even though he hasn't been in office for the last 3.5 years. She's always going to bring up, hey, we had a border bill. Trump vetoed it. And I'm just like, when is the accountability going to start to happen with this party? And just
a lie too, because Trump didn't veto the bill. Trump didn't call anybody till after the bill was already dead. And people don't ever read these bills, right? You are completely correct when they're masters of manipulation. They save the puppy bill, and then in the bill is kill every puppy you meet on the street. That's how we save all the puppies. And no one's gonna read none of that shit. So when it comes to the border bill, it was, I think, $25 billion to Ukraine, and I think $3 billion to the border with 1,500 soldiers, and we still had to let in almost, I think, 10,000 people a day.
Yes.
How in the hell was that going to help the border in any metric?
And people are actually reading what's going on, so they're just going to run with whatever.
Yeah, they're going to run with
don't say gay. Don't forget the don't say gay bill
in Florida.
And they make it seem like that people are being homophobic, when in reality, if I'm not mistaken, the bill basically said you should not be talking to elementary students about sex.
By up to 3rd grade, I think.
Yeah, up to 3rd grade.
Yeah, and nobody read that. It was like a 3-sentence bill, and nobody read it. Like that's just how it is when what the Democrats do, and they would go around and parade that type of thing.
What they used to tell us as kids: if you want to hide something from a black man, you put it in a book.
True.
That's true.
Ooh.
That's true. I heard that. I heard that saying too. And they ain't gonna pick up no damn book and read.
I remember like during COVID, I was like one of the only people reading and it was so sick, bro. They would put 1,000 pages together for one bill and throw a whole bunch of shit in the bottom of the bill. Yeah, we spending $25 billion to Israel. What the fuck? What do you do?
Exactly.
Like, where is that money going? We building a FBI building for $30 billion. What? Like, nobody asked you for none of this, but it's gonna go in every single bill. Even like, I could agree that this is a big situation with the border, but even then they would do it like something like the government about to shut down now. The Republicans like, oh well, let's put the whole vote, like let people vote, don't let non-citizens vote in the election bill coupled with that. Well, the government gonna shut down because anybody voting for that shit. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm just saying that that's just what they do. They would just keep throwing things together and be like, well, the Democrats want to vote for this, or the Republicans want to vote for that, and this is the title of the bill. And no one's going to read into these things.
Yeah, they're going to see the title.
So I got one question, right? What policies do you like from Kamala Harris?
Who else going to ask that?
Yeah. Well, what policies? Anything? Is there anything from the other side that you're like, okay, I at least like that policy, and I would want Trump to push that as well?
Every policy that I like that she said was something that Trump said already. No tax on tips. The $6,000 credit for childcare was something J.D. Vance thought of first. And she literally, it was me. I said that. I said $6,000. It was me. So there is nothing she said I think that I wouldn't get if I vote for Trump. Like everything, even up to like she has the price control situation.
Yeah,
and like, oh well, she just wants to go after businesses that are gouging people for prices. And I'm like, that you don't know what a business margin is. You have no idea what these things are. So when you put a cap on X, Y, and Z, it's almost like incentivizing people to steal from a store, right?
Exactly.
Eggs $6. And you say, all right, well, the supermarket can't sell eggs more than $6. The supermarket buying eggs for $4. Inflation keep going up. Now eggs are $7, but they still got to sell it for $6. Even if I pay them $6, I'm still robbing the store. The store's losing money. At some point, the store gonna have to close down because they're literally operating on a negative.
Bro, that's communism.
That's a communist policy. Like through and through. Like price controls doesn't work. I think there was 2 presidents that did it before, and both presidents led to food shortages.
Exactly. I feel like Nixon was one.
Nixon was one of them.
Yeah, Nixon was one, and you saw what that did.
FDR was the second, I think. If I'm not mistaken, FDR was the second of them, I think.
Yeah. And that's a thing too. They didn't even bring that up in a debate, I believe.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
Like, Kamala did how many interviews? She did with Oprah. She did it with the ABC affiliate right after the debate.
Didn't she sit down with the NABJ?
NABJ. Nobody is bringing this up, and I'm like, how can nobody bring this up for something that's going to affect our country?
First of all, Oprah don't even like black people. Let's talk about it. I'm not expecting her to bring up anything. Anytime I see Kamala, the only thing I see Kamala do is laugh and talk about abortion. I don't know anything else that she
and that's the thing too, because like if people pay attention, like that's the voter they're going after. And I'm not trying to say it's a sexism thing, but it's to them it is. They're going after low information female voters. Like if you look at the consensus of who is voting, it's almost like a man versus woman war.
It is.
It's like 70% of the men in this country are voting Republican, and about 7% of women are voting that. But most women I know don't really go around and try to educate themselves on politics. They do, but they read the surface of it, the headline of it, and they go off with this situation.
I noticed
and then they were lying about it too, because they said how Kamala Harris had 150,000 women on a Zoom call. I don't know not one Zoom call that can hold 150,000 people. There's no Zoom call. That ain't a special Zoom call that can hold. There's not a Skype call that can hold 150.
I didn't even fit on the screen. Like,
Not only that, I was actually telling Zab this is just something I know. Like I said, I don't consider myself that smart when it comes to politics. I just know what I see with my eyes, and I see what people are experiencing, and also what they share with me from their experiences. And I was telling Zab, I said, I noticed a pattern. Notice how the same types of women that always choose the terrible types of men, they vote the way they choose their men.
Speak on it.
They vote the same way. I go off things that I notice, and it's like y'all will sit here and say, oh, men are this, they don't respect us, they don't listen to us, they treat us like crap. Is that not what the Democrats are doing to you? Are they not taking advantage of you? Are they not taking your last and giving it to someone else? Just like how you said, oh, he will sit here and drive in my car and don't put no gas in it and ride with another woman in it. Is that not what the Democrats are doing with your money?
Broken promises.
Your resources, they're taking your job, they're taking your housing, and they're letting someone else enjoy you. It's the same way. And then it's like people will look at me like, well, you're a coon for voting for Trump. I literally, from high school, we were taught to vote Democrat. And imagine I left the city and experienced life outside of the bubble that is New York. Because let's be honest, most people never even leave their boroughs.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Most people don't even know what Queens look like. Maybe Manhattan, but...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to get into that too, but I want to ask this first. Why do you think it's such a gender war when it's coming to this election? Like, how is Kamala able to just speak to women?
No, you go first.
I'm gonna tell y'all a long story about it. Bullshit started. So this shit started with a little thing called Gamergate a long time ago. Alright? When this woman called Anita Sarkeesian came out with this thing called feminist frequency, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she pointed out that in media, because it wasn't just in video games, she tried to point out all the media we enjoy, all the things we enjoy, everything's sexist, everything's racist, we gotta point it all out. When this fourth waves of feminism started at that point, anything you said, anything that you think that was against women was racist, sexist, and everything like that. That has compounded from 2013 to now. You understand what I'm saying? And it's gotten to the point where it's a cultural, like when Kevin Samuels came about, when all this drizzle shit on TikTok, all this thing came about, it just drove this wedge further and further and further to the point that like even the things we vote on aren't the same.
Right.
So, like, but when it comes to like what you ask women, what are they voting for? What are you voting for? The only thing they will tell you is abortion. It has nothing to do with the border, nothing to do with the country, nothing to do with things. I don't want a man telling me what to do with my body. That's the only thing they're gonna say because the only topic that Kamala brings up that is gonna speak directly to the public zeitgeist of what women is listening to right now. Men don't pay attention to that because we need to make money, we need to provide for families, we need to provide for a lot of things. So in our brain is the border need to be secure, I need more money, we need more jobs, we need more housing. But that's not a thing women think of in their brain because that's not something that they were not bred to think of, not raised to think of. It's just not something that they do. So when the whole fourth wave feminism thing started, it made women a lot more selfish coming to men and a lot more selfish coming to not even men alone, but society as a whole. Like, look at that Charlie Kirk interview when he was in it. Charlie Kirk thing, he was debating the 25 Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
On there was like, children are parasites. Like, that is a propaganda tool that she had learned 10 years prior and got solidified with all the MSNBC, CNN, and CBS you've been watching till now. And that's the reason why the divide is this big. Because when you ask most men, they're not watching CNN.
Let's not forget Cosmopolitan, where they literally admitted that they lied to women. They created this fantasy for women. You don't need men. You just need to be a girl boss. We got this. We don't need nothing from them.
And there's a saying that says politics is downstream from culture. So when this thing cooked up culturally for 10 plus years, it just started trickling down politically wise. We elected AOC and she started saying this bullshit.
Yeah.
Like Rashida Tlaib and she started saying this bullshit. What's the lady from Ohio, the Muslim lady? I forgot her name. That be winning elections when nobody be voting for
Oh shit.
One maritime brother, I think it is. That lady. Yeah, like all these people come up in there and then they keep saying these culturally relevant things, and that is what drives the things, the divide are worse. So now when they go to pick a politician, you're picking a politician based on where they are culturally to you. So culturally to us, we care about X, Y, and Z topic. Culturally to women, they care about that, and that's where the split happened. So like I blame Game and Gay because that's when I got in the situation. I was just telling them, hey man, if people are online telling you some bullshit, just mute them. I don't play Call of Duty. I got called racist, sexist, homophobic. I was like, where is all this shit coming from? And that's how I got involved into all this bullshit to begin with. So that's where I got into it.
I got a question for y'all. So like now we know one of the biggest things, obviously the economy, housing, and abortion, but why is there this big fascination over the abortion, right? We look at black people on the whole, we only make up, they say 14%, I believe it's less, but yet we are 50% in the jails, right? We make up 50% of the prisons. So it's like you're trying to promote, oh, you can get abortions, right? We look at the number one visitors of these Planned Parenthood clinics.
98% black people.
It's black people. So what do you think exactly are they trying to do here? I mean, we have an influx of migrants coming in. You having all these pushing abortions. You know, we have all these free vasectomies and all this stuff happening. Like, what is the real outcome?
B and C for Christ's sake.
And the thing about, before I let you...
It's to call black people. I'm just going to go with what the person who invented Planned Parenthood said.
Margaret Sanger.
Margaret Sanger said that she was doing it to call black people, to call the black race, and it's exactly why she's doing this. Why contraceptives was made and targeted to black neighborhoods. This is the reason it was happening. But the thing is like, I feel like I don't understand, like when you said that, like the masses of manipulation. If this was not an election cycle, you would walk up to a black woman, and a black woman would tell you that doctors are the same thing to black women as cops are to black men. They will go around saying these type of things religiously. They would tell you about Margaret Sanger and calling the black race religiously. Then the minute anybody's running for politics and abortion mentioned, no, we need politics, so nobody can tell me what to do with my body. It's the most contradictory thing I've ever seen in my life, and I think it's because of the smoke and mirrors the Democrats put up a low information.
They like to play on empathy.
Yeah.
Because their people are low information, but they're more feelers, not thinkers. And then they'll take advantage of that. They know these people aren't going to go and read and figure out what's actually happening. It's the same thing with Roe v. Wade. I used to work at basically like a group home for teenage girls. And unfortunately, I watched them sit there during some of their classes, and they were showing them January 6th, Roe v. Wade, and how it's going to destroy everything.
Fear-mongering.
Right.
Yeah, it's indoctrination.
And it's frustrating because this is like a whole group of young teenage girls, and you're sending them off with misinformation, and it doesn't help. Mm-hmm. Rather than explain to them, hey, Roe v. Wade being overturned was basically them just leaving it up to the states. No one said that they're for the entire of America, that they're getting rid of abortion. Not only that, why is it so hard to believe that there are some women in other states that voted for no abortion because they do not believe
I never understood that. Like, why do the New York women who want abortion care about the Alabama women that don't? Like, that if they don't want abortion in Alabama, they don't want it. But they're not
they
going to
don't
vote for
even
it.
get abortion screaming abortion. You kept your baby. Shut up.
That would be when Steph Curry was like, I agree with abortion. I'm like, you got 4 ass.
Yeah. Steph, sit down.
You kept your baby.
But you know, this is the thing. Last year, when I found out the history of Planned Parenthood, when I found out who Margaret Sanger was, basically the plan was to eradicate the black population. I was like, how is this not known within the black community?
They know. No. They know it.
It's like they forget.
It's every
As soon as the Democrats come and talk to them and do like that.
They know.
Yeah.
They literally know because it was black women that told me this. That's what I'm saying. It was other black women, the same black women that are Kamala Harris supporters right now, is the one who told me this shit. So I don't know how the manipulation is. I think it got to be some type of mental disorder at this point.
They put some shit in the Kool-Aid, bro.
Like, I don't get it.
It's like it's selective. They literally wait until a certain time of the year and then they flip over.
Like, I remember growing up in New York and everybody was anti-government and, fight the power and whatnot. And then these same people today, like, you gotta listen to what the government say, man. The government told me that the Trump assassination was fake, so I must be. They said he fell down after some loud sounds, so they gotta be what it is.
I remember in COVID, everybody was anti-government because there was a lot of people who didn't want to take the shot. But the government is saying in order to work at some businesses, you need to take the shot. I remember teachers.
My body, my choice.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I was going to say that. That was
There
my other
teachers
question.
Protesting, literally protesting, said we don't want to take the shot as we want to govern our own bodies. All of New York was against it. Boom, look at it now. Now it's election time. Everybody's right back on the plantation. Everybody's right.
My choice. You can't tell me what to do. They're gonna take away my rights.
And then this is why I said it's low information voters, because everybody, like the high information voter women, when minute Roe v. Wade got overturned, they were in City Hall 3 hours later. Now we're past that shit. Because they knew for a fact they wanted abortion in their state, so they went down to City Hall and did it. It's easier for you to get something passed in City Hall in your state than to get it passed federally.
Yep.
They was down there 30 seconds later. Yo, get past that shit, vote for that.
And don't even forget, there are some states, they didn't actually get rid of abortion. What they did was lower the term. You go 8 weeks, 13 weeks, 12 weeks, maybe max 15 weeks. That's what they did. But then in the media's like, oh my God, another state got rid of abortion. That's not what that is.
Yep.
Right.
Why are we promoting abortion as a contraceptive? No. Y'all sit here as women and you'll sit here and be like, oh, the woman body is so complex. We need to be careful. There are things that can happen to us. So why are you promoting abortion? You don't think that an abortion, especially done wrong, by the same doctors you claim don't take care of black women properly, you think that's going to be okay on your body if it goes wrong? What are you teaching our children? It's frustrating. And it makes my head hurt because I'm like, bro,
And that's the thing,
I am
it's
not
like,
that smart.
you're asking the
But I
question-
remember you said this. Why are we saying this now?
You asking the question of like what they gonna tell their church? That's the whole point of why JD Vance keep bringing up like the childless cat lady. They don't want to have kids. But because they don't want to have kids, they can't think of anything going on in the future. Like, if you ask me, like, I'm into space exploration or whatnot, I know for a fact people right now building things to go into space or go do shit me, you, and everybody around us ain't never gonna see. But it's not for us. It's for our kids and our kids' kids and our kids' kids. But they don't think that way. They don't think that the policy they pass today is gonna affect their kids' kids. How that's gonna...
I think more people today are more selfish. They think about themselves and not the generation after
talked
them.
about that yesterday.
You know what I mean? And one thing is, like, we know the birth rate in this country is low because there's so much access to abortions and all these other different type of contraceptives. And yes, you can say the economy is bad and a lot of people don't want to have kids because it's going to cost a lot more money. But that should not be a deterrent to start a family. You know what I'm saying? The country should be promoting having kids, promoting, our future, because the kids are our future. Huh?
I saw propaganda back in the day. They used to show us teenage pregnancy and all that other thing, shows like that to deter us from when we grew up to having these kids. Now there's people 30 years old who remember these shows back on MTV and whatnot who are afraid to have kids because this is what they remember seeing. All that struggling and whatnot. It was never painted in a good light to start a family early.
They're telling you things are too expensive, but nobody stopped people during the plague from having kids. Nobody stopped people during the Industrial Revolution. They was popping them out like
There was no money around.
The Great Depression, all of that, people were still having kids. So,
and if they didn't breed, none of us would be here.
I don't know when, as a country, we started to become so anti-family. I don't even know like when that even started to happen. It's just the whole thing, and I always say this with the black population: strength is in numbers. We make up so little bit of the population in America. In order for us to command things of what we want, we need more of us in this country. What if the number was 30%? We could literally go to these political people and be like, "Yo, this is what we want. If you want our vote,
if you don't, you get primary tonight."
Exactly.
I have another theory on why they've been stopping families, or at least in the black community. From what I've noticed, there's a lot of people that grew up and they had to raise their mother's children because their mother was a single mother. So they're like, "Oh my God, I spent the whole of my childhood raising 4, 5, 6 of my baby brothers and sisters. I don't want kids right now. I'm gonna wait till I'm ready. I don't want kids right now.
And they look at it too,
I don't
right?
think I could be a mother. I was already a mother. That's not my thing. I want to be by myself. Why is it so hard for you to believe that I don't want children?" And I'm like, because it was taken from you.
Right.
You have to raise your siblings. You probably would have already had children by now.
That is very true.
And on top of that, you gotta watch too, right? They always say that if the Democrats lose 20% of what they have right now, the black population is votes, they would never win again. They know that, and they know that a lot of black people, especially this is the one election I've seen black people in the street arguing each other over Donald Trump. Even the first time, we all voting for the same person. This is the first time I've ever seen it happen, and they know that. They know they're losing 18-20% of the black vote this time around. They know. But what they're doing is trying to influx all these migrants because they know for a fact that at this point, we're not doing this with them. So they need a new voting base. And the one voting base they know that they can import and multiply would be the people that they let them.
yeah, and them Hispanics, they don't play when it comes to kids. They don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They have more a stronger core family base. You know what I mean? Right. And if it's 10 of them that got to stay in one apartment, they figure it out. You know what I mean?
We'll definitely figure it out.
So I got.
The only people I know that will complain that we are a small population and then agree with people telling them that it's okay if you don't want to have kids. What?
Exactly. That's what I always say.
There's power in numbers. Again, these are things that were hammered into us as children. The Black Panthers, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers.
Yep.
All these people went to have families.
Yep. And I think
all these people are people that you claim we're supposed to look up to and then turn around and make us smaller. People nowadays are complaining that they're lonely, they have no family, they have no support system. Well, maybe if you raise people to learn how to be husbands, learn how to be wives, we'll have more families.
And then it's like, I believe that at this point, I think it's like on parts of the manipulation that comes from, because I don't know, it's very hard to argue with black women sometimes, especially with a lot of things. They have a lot of deflectionary techniques, a lot of things like that. It's hard to argue with them. So then it's like we would have conversations when a normal day about how single parent households would lead to like the destruction of the black community. We have these conversations daily. And then I'm now seeing this trend where black women are going to like sperm banks now and like inseminating themselves to be single mothers on purpose. And I'm like, I thought we talked about this.
Yeah.
Oh, but here's the thing. They'll complain about black women who would have sons, raise their sons, and coddle them to where the point where the men would grow up and not really understand what it means to be a man because they didn't have a father, but then turn around and be like, well, a single mother could do it.
That's where these young nigga crash outs are coming from.
Why are you complaining that her son is not a real man? Are you admitting that a woman cannot raise a man alone? Which is it?
They could never admit that. They can't admit that.
But that's what I'm saying. The deflectionary tactic, and that's another whole thing. Why I'm like politics is downstream from culture. We elected a lot of like black women, a lot of women from our culture, and they taught the other politicians around them these deflectionary tactics. This is why we try to go to a politician and say, "Hey, man, the border's open. You're racist."
Another person, when it comes to music, Beyonce. Beyonce sat here and basically convinced y'all don't need a man, and she got her husband and her kids.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Cardi B and Offset, they be complaining like there's no tomorrow, but nobody stopped them from having their 3 kids in a ring.
Yep. Yep.
Nobody stopped them. They will tell y'all don't need a man, but then they got one at home.
Yeah, it's weaponized programming, and then like I think the biggest thing that showed me like the weaponized programming of music right now is they don't peep that like all like not even all, but a good portion of rappers and like people that the black community listen to. Now we all started making country music. Why is that? Because now they have gotten the messaging from the base or the party or whoever's invented this nonsense and saying, hey man, you know, we not reaching middle America. We got to reach middle America somehow. So we got to get the little trucker hat with the Harris Waltz on it. We got to get some country songs with some black people going. This is why they're doing that. They don't be listening to this bullshit. They us.
Exactly.
With that cop stuff. They sit here and they tell us to fear the cops and this and that. And it's like, we definitely have a cop problem, but it doesn't only just affect black people. No. There's cops that's killing white people at an all-time high.
Yeah, that got.
But they're not going to tell you that because they want black people to fear. They want them to be scared. They run on that. And it's my heart.
It's the one thing that I have a major problem with, and we talk about this on the podcast a lot, and it's with black people running around with this victim mentality.
Correct.
That's why I feel a lot of black people are Democrats or they vote Democrat because everything. Oh, it's the black people. You're marginalized. You can't get jobs. Your pay is low. The system is always against you.
The mentality of it, yeah.
Yeah, and
the system is against you. So if you vote for us, we'll give you the money.
We'll give you this. We'll give you all of that stuff, and that's the handouts that black people are looking for.
The way they keep us on the plantation. They're like this. Keep all of this. Keep all of that. We'll promise this. But hold on. I want to ask y'all a quick question though. Yeah. Not to pivot too much, but
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Playing this is nice.
So obviously, growing up in New York, we were all taught to vote Democrat. Yep. When was it? When was the point in your life when you was like, man, this is some bullshit? Like maybe we should start listening to.
I got you. Let me tell you what it is. 2016, I was the biggest Bernie Sanders supporter, man. I was like, bro, I was ready to go.
We all were. I think we all were at one point.
Bernie was the man. The minute I saw how the primary played out when the super PACs voted for Hillary and then the grassroots was like, I'm sitting there and in my head, I'm like, dog, so you mean to tell me we can't vote for whoever the hell we put in office? We can't do that because if the corporations don't want the person we want, but fuck us. That's just how it was. I literally remember when Bernie went up there and did his last speech because he lost the primary. I turned to my mother that day and I said, Donald J. Trump will become the president of the United States if I have any fucking thing to say about it. That shit. I said, I don't care what the scenario is. I said, after that, I'm not voting for no Hillary. I didn't want Hillary. I don't know. I'm not voting for war with Russia. I'm not voting for another Gaddafi situation. I'm not doing that. I don't care what the scenario is.
And my thing with that situation, at least for me, what made me want to vote for Trump, outside of the lies from CNN, same thing. But what really got me was the fact that they started saying, oh, well, it's because she's a woman. It's because of this. And I'm like, whoa. With my little knowledge as a child, all we knew was when Bill Clinton was president, as far as America was concerned, it was really Hillary that was president.
Yeah, Hillary was president. That man was playing jazz music on SNL and Hillary was president.
He was out here doing his little hello, and Shorty was behind the scenes doing all the work.
he was getting head in the office. That's what he was doing. Bill was out there.
That's all it was.
He was what they call it. He was the second gentleman. It was really Hillary that was president and Clinton was the VP. That was it for me. But I told Zach, I said I really feel like the reason they didn't vote for Hillary, outside of the Benghazi situation, is the fact that she's a woman scoring. After everyone mocked her with the whole Monica Lewinsky situation,
She wanted America head on a silver.
Yo, I gotta give Trump this points. He brought the woman at the debate. I was like, yo, that's some G shit right there, yo. That's some G shit right there, yo. That's some G shit right there.
I told Tab, I could understand if the rest of America don't like Trump, but when Trump first came out, before all the propaganda, why did New Yorkers hate him?
I don't know.
Y'all sitting here telling me I should hate Trump, but most of my New York friends talk just like him. You're telling me
Which is true.
And not to go back too much too, like remember even like they trying to make the policies that Trump is passing now and saying that there's some right wing shit like that. If I remember correctly, back in the early 2000s, the right wing was for war, the right wing was for open borders, the right wing was for these things. I remember Bernie Sanders was the one who got up on stage and was like, "Hey, are you gonna do open borders?" Like, I'm not doing no damn open borders. That's a Koch brothers proposal. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard. That's what Bernie Sanders said. I don't know who the Bernie Sanders that's out there now after they beat his ass. He came out with that black guy. I was like, oh shit. I think that's really what it is. That was the moment for me where it's like, I'm not doing that. And then even then when it was like that, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. Because at that point I was like, I thought he wasn't serious. I was listening to propaganda. I'm like, this man not serious.
Me too.
He's not doing nothing like that. I didn't know he was going to win.
Yeah, I didn't vote.
Until after he won the election, and it's like, he started doing some decent stuff. The Abraham Accords, these things. I'm like, this man has peace in the... I said, you know what's funny? When it came to Abraham Accords specifically, I said, if we had to write a New Testament today, if you had to make a new Bible today, you got to put that shit in there. These people have been warring since biblical days. Jesus was alive when these people was warring. He's not.
he literally brought peace to the Middle
I don't even like. And people are like, oh no, you know, the Israelis and the Saudis been friends for a long time under the table. I'm like, what country do you live in?
Yeah.
I was having it.
Reach.
You can read in the Old Testament they've been beefing. Like,
That's facts.
These things were monumental things he passed. When Kanye went down there, people thought Kanye was full of shit. He went down there and got not bail reform, it was a prison reform bill passed when it came to Trump. So a lot of these things that happened was a bunch of things that happened. My thing is when Kamala Harris supposed to be like, well, Trump was in president for 4 years. Why was it you impeached him? Y'all had the House and the Senate. Y'all did not give this man no leeway to do nothing. We were trying to build the wall for 4 years, and y'all just threw forgot the dude's name that they just threw in jail because he had made the GoFundMe for trying to help build the wall with Trump. So they threw people in jail for doing this type of stuff. They were doing a lot of this nonsense during Trump's presidency. You impeached him 2 to 3 times.
Yeah.
He was still
He had no power to
put
do
money
anything.
in all our pockets within that time frame he had. All it showed me was that the Democrats been playing in our face forever. That's all it did.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
Okay.
Shit. So I got to talk about this, and it's sad because we have the influx of migrants coming in, and in Chicago, they're saying a lot of the gangs are starting to fight the migrants because they're bringing their gangs in here. You know what I mean? They trying to hustle and they making their money. However, they want to sell drugs, whatever, control whatever areas. I understand. That's how it is. But now we're seeing a shift where I'm seeing black people hate those migrants. Like they're hating them in terms of now we want to go to war with these people. Now we're going to start, instead of shooting ourselves, which again, wrong is wrong. Shooting ourselves is wrong, whatever. But now it's an attack on them, right? We live in New York. We've been in New York. We got every culture is here, right? And if we start as black people start hating another race, we're no better than white people that was hating us.
That is very true. But the only thing I can say with that is cause and effect beget something. Because you could say that be the truth, but remember when the Trinitarios stabbed up Junior down the block for no ass reason? That really gonna make nobody happy. And if that situation keep happening over and over again, you could tell a black person anything, but they just stab my friend up the block. I don't care what the hell you telling me. And that's a situation that's going to keep going down. So even if it goes to a legacy where we're not going to be no better than them, it's going to be personal vendetta and personal vendetta. That's how the game war started.
Right.
Get back.
Absolutely correct.
And that's what's gonna keep happening. But now, what the image that I just see happening that is gonna be unfortunate because now you're gonna walk down the block and the Hispanic dude is gonna look at you sideways because you never was doing that with you before. But now, oh, you black, you don't like my people, you feel like we coming in here. And the average black person today, they walk on the block, they don't know who's a migrant and who's not.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So you automatically gonna have this hate against somebody who is a citizen that you don't even know.
That creates racism.
And that does, but this is what they want. The Democrats know that they divide people. It's easy for them to get votes.
Yep.
So this is what they want. They want to play identity and race politics over and over and over again because this is what they want. I remember before the Charlottesville thing, this is when the Charlottesville thing happened. I remember right like the week before, and we started hearing on the news, oh, white people race. I turned to Kira and I said, yo, I don't think like the America I grew up in is raised, the white people up in, but if they keep pushing this motherfucker, they're gonna create the animal that they're talking about. And the Charlottesville thing happened a week after that. And that was one of the situations too when I started like after 2016 started supporting Trump because it went from stop making me defend him to supporting him.
Right.
Like when he came up, it was like, yo, I don't know who them two people are, Antifa, Cake. I don't know who them the people were talking on both sides. They were fine people. That when I saw it on the news, they were like, oh, the KKK was fine people. Like that's not what he didn't say that.
And he literally debunked them.
And I'm like, and I went to go tell him like, yo, so like y'all saw that, right? And he never said it. No, he said. I'm like, don't make me defend him.
Don't forget, the same people that are saying that he supports the KKK are the same people that act like they didn't hear when Biden went within his first 100 days, mind you, and he went to speak on the eulogy at Robert Bird's.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, so I thought we weren't for the KKK. Are we just gonna act like we didn't see it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a coon because I'm calling this out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you're not a coon for sitting here promoting Biden, knowing he's doing exactly what you told me I was wrong for supporting with Trump, even though Trump denied it.
Yep.
He denied it so many times. And they brought that up at the debate. I was like, come on. Y'all could literally go online and look at it of him debunking all of that.
There's literal montages now of him disavowing racism over and over and over and over again. They don't care. They just gonna keep saying it.
What got me? And I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of people that I actually, either they deleted me or I deleted them. During the whole January 6th situation, and they were like, oh, black people will never. Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Black people will never. No, I literally took the pictures I saw of black people in the White House during January 6th, and I would just calmly put it under their post. They will post, yo, ain't no black person. You ain't see no black person at the White House. I'll just take the picture of the black dude in the red puffer jacket just standing there looking around.
My thing is, that's the one thing that was so upsetting to me, right? I remember when I actually was one of the people that got the email or whatnot. For me and Zach had gotten an email or whatnot before the January 6th happened.
His brother.
Because we had just came down from Washington not a few days before that because we went to go pick up a friend from the military.
Right.
So I remember we had got the message and we was like, because what really was the situation and what it was, because I think that people don't realize how this whole thing started and that's what it was. But the real situation was they were going to have a protest about the $600 that passed. Because nobody's like, we were in a pandemic for God knows how long. What the hell was $600 supposed to do for us?
Mm-hmm.
So that was what the original protest was going to be about. It was going to be about the $600 and about the whole Trump get election stole thing. There was just a bunch of shit going on at once. When they sent the email out, and me and my brother saw, you got to park a mile away from the event, and you can't bring a firearm? I said, this the FBI, and this is this a trap. Because if I even did something or brought a gun for protection, and I got to run a mile in my car, ain't no way I'm not going to get it.
Don't forget, they made it seem like it was the Trump supporters that was out here hurting people, but it was the Trump supporter that died.
And hold on, yes, it was a Trump supporter.
Yeah, she got shot. I remember.
Mm-hmm. But people don't realize that if you look at the early CNN footages of what was going on, there was Anonymous out there in their Guy Fawkes mask. There was Black Lives Matter out there. There was everybody out there.
Everyone was there.
It was after the event was done. Everybody was like, yep, it was them Trump racists that was out there. It was like, there was every faction.
Everybody.
LGBTQ was out there too.
Yeah, there was all type of flags. There was flags
Everyone was there.
Factions I've never seen before. That's what it was, because that's the propaganda. It was white people. And then what's the thing, too, right? Almost all January 6 people have been let out of jail at this point with no charges.
Yeah.
But they'll still go on the news and say that every one of them are criminals and terrorists and whatnot. These people don't have charges. They was held in jail for 4 years with no charge, and they just got let out. They held that one dude who had the headdress thing that was out there. They held him till the Speaker of the House that came in, released the video and showed that the police let him in. They escorted him in.
Oh, don't forget, as of now, they're starting to let people from January 6th out because they weren't guilty.
Yeah, they weren't even guilty.
They made it seem like people aren't allowed in the building. People literally are allowed.
It's a public building.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the right to be in there.
I want you to believe that the people broke it. They walked in.
I remember the officer when the officer said, I don't agree with y'all doing, but that's exactly what the officer said on national TV when he was opening the door for them walking in.
Tell me about the old lady.
Oh yeah, that old lady. They arrested that like 78-year-old lady that was just
She was just minding her business.
Mind her business. She didn't even know where she was.
Poor thing.
Oh my
So much
gosh.
propaganda.
Oh my goodness.
So,
It hurts, bro. It hurts because it's like, they'll be like, who are you going to believe? Me or your lying eyes?
okay, let me ask you one quick question. I think this is a good follow-up, though. Do you believe Trump is racist?
No.
Nah.
Okay, can you expound on it?
Yeah, y'all remember when Jennifer Hudson's family got shot up by her ex-boyfriend?
Yep.
Jennifer Hudson's whole family got buried by Trump, and she was able to step at the Trump Hotel and get
For like 6 months?
If I'm not mistaken, from Trump. Trump did that. He ain't say shit about it.
He paid for everything.
He paid for everything for sure. He ain't say nothing about it, none of that. Trump got NAACP awards almost every other year in the 90s because his help with black people. If Jesse Jackson is one of the biggest frauds I got. First of all, Jesse Jackson worked with the FBI. Jesse Jackson got MLK shot. But let's go past that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Why would you call him out to about? Anyway, Jesse Jackson is a bastard. Because Jesse Jackson's whole political career got funded by one man, and that was Donald J. Trump. The only black person to run for office at that point was funded by one guy, and he's turned on his back the minute he got some money.
My reason for it is the HBCUs. If I'm not mistaken, there was a certain amount of money that HBCUs would get every year. And Trump was like, why do you have to keep coming back and asking me for it? Just take it. And the way he set it up, he made it so that they don't have to keep back and asking for money for funding for the school. And what frustrates me about it is, it's the same people that went to HBCUs that don't like him. And I'm like, bro, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have the resources.
You wouldn't even have a school right now.
What are you talking about?
And there's another thing. When Trump was in office, he sat down with Ice Cube, like you said, with the Platinum Plan. He sat down with one of the founders of BET to talk about, things happening in the black community and what they can do to solve them. I don't remember seeing Biden or Kamala sitting down with black people talking about black issues. But the man who's racist sat down with them, and he's the one that's trying to have a solution.
Trump done more pictures with black people than Biden.
True.
Yeah, but look. Here's the thing. Because on the podcast, him and I, this is where we disagreed. I believe Trump is racist, but I'd rather deal with a person that's a racist rather than deal with someone who is an undercover racist. Meaning, like Biden and Hillary, they're racist. But they would call on the Breakfast Club and be like, "Oh, I got hot sauce in my purse and all this other nonsense."
You ain't black if
you're not black if you don't vote for me. To me, that's like, bro, that's disrespectful, right? To me, though, the thing I don't like about Trump is like some of the shit that he said in the past. Yes, some of them is debunked, and how he conveys his messages comes off wrong. Like the black job situation, right? You watch the full context. When he's saying, "Oh, they're coming to take your black jobs and Hispanic jobs or whatever," right? He's saying in the sense of, "Yo, they're coming to take low-end jobs," right? On the podcast, we said, "Okay, what is a low-end job?" Right?
I got you right now.
Right? What is a low-end job, and what race of people are in those industries? The industries are hospitality and food services. How many black people make up that? 83%. We dominate that. And if they're coming in,
if you can hire a migrant for $4 or pay me $15 an hour, what you gonna do?
They're gonna come and take your damn job.
So he's not wrong in saying black job. Like one thing, like I think.
Hold on, I got something to that black job thing. You said, what is a black job? I'm not gonna lie. I can understand how people can get frustrated with that, and that's fair. the MTA, what else? Two ladies that we
restaurant.
I see black people doing it, but I can see how that could be offensive. The reason I didn't take it offensively is because I actually do see black people in these jobs. That's what they do. And if the migrants come and take it away, that is taking away.
But again, if the facts support his argument, that is not really a racist statement. If you don't like the way he said it, you can say, "Oh, I don't like the way he said it." But in all actuality, the jobs that they're coming and taking are affecting the black community the most. You know, Trump just has a way. Trump is just like, he's just a direct guy.
New Yorker,
you know what I mean? Like,
no, he's in New York. I get it, and I look. The thing I like about it is he's blunt. Like he just say it. He's got no filter, and that to me shows this. There's no person really controlling. Oh, you can't say this. You can't do this. This guy comes on the interview, and you ask him the question, he give you the answer. You look at Kamala, talking about all this other shit, deflecting, but like,
but the point.
But the point. But another thing is even the Proud Boy situation, right? Look, we know out in the South and them places, the KKK and them members are still active and they still running around. We know that we got cops out there that's shooting black people left and right, and the whole police immunity thing, right? When Trump was on the NJB, the black journalist interview, the one thing I was like, okay, he held himself back on that question because they said, all right, he spoke about giving police officers immunity. And during that time, there was a situation where the one woman that got shot in the face when she had a mental issue when she was holding the water. And they asked him, okay, in a situation like that, right? That cop shot her and she didn't even do anything. Does that cop deserve immunity from the situation? He deflected the question. He's like, oh, I didn't hear about that. I didn't see that. But then now you fast forward to the cats and dogs situation. He saw that. He heard about that. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna give him one excuse on that. The only reason, and I was saying this when they were like, we asked the city manager if they were eating cats and dogs, and they said no. I'm like, the dude is his vice president, the sitting senator of Ohio. Like, who are you asking? Like, he's standing right there. The manager of the McDonald's ain't never gonna tell you there's rats.
That was my whole thing. I was like, people don't know J.D. Vance is a representative in Ohio. His constituents, they are telling him this. And then I was like, how is this racist if the people of that community are going to him and like, listen, this is what's going on. This is what we need help. And then because he has such a powerful voice and he's running for VP, he's bringing it to the attention of the nation. Now it's racist. That's like me going to Eric Adams like, yo, this and that is happening in the community. And now if he voices it to New York, now it's a racist thing. And now it's a racist thing. And
like with the situation with the woman getting shot now, like that dude gotta go to jail. First, that cop gotta go straight.
Yeah,
right.
There's no excuses for that.
There ain't no excuse. I don't want to hear it. That cop need to do everything short of the death penalty. And if doesn't get the death penalty, give the ass to. But at this point, like when it came to that situation with things, I don't like the whole like immunity thing per se. I think when he made immunity, it was more so a situation of them doing their job correctly and then them not getting sued or whatnot for it. But then like there is a gray area where something like that happens, and then the police would be like, he did his job fine, and it's like, no, he did not.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's no reason he should get any protection for that. So I feel like there got to be some type of fine line between that. And that's like if he has like a weak point in his policy, that's probably one of the biggest weak points.
Right, and I completely agree.
I don't really understand the circumstance of like giving them complete immunity, because if you give cops complete immunity, you can get an ass beat in the street.
Yeah, that's point blank. Point blank. But
right. Because I also thinking about it from standpoint of like, I think the way he's kind of addressing it is like it's going to be like a board meeting or some shit like that, and then they all agree on this cop get immunity. But let's just say like the people in that board is biased towards cops, like, oh, he's fine, you know what I mean? Like, let's give him immunity. But the public, we're looking at it like there is no way that cop deserves immunity. So I said this on the podcast. So like, I don't agree with that. Like I don't know if that's something that could get passed because first of all, Trump came and granted his own goddamn self immunity. So like, I don't even know how that's even gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know like how that's really gonna work. Like how, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that's going to hold up well, if he becomes president. But yeah, like if he could grant himself immunity, how he can grant other people immunity? He's here fighting case after case.
He's
you know
all
what I'm saying? Like,
Berkeley got immunity. His old damn president was Kodak.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know like how that's really gonna work, and I haven't heard anybody talk about it in a while. So we'll see. We'll wait and see with that.
So
I do like if he hear enough of his like constituent back, that's the stupidest shit we ever heard. He would drop that policy in a heartbeat. That's
Right.
the one thing I like about it. I forgot there was some other policy he had brought up that was just the stupidest shit I think I ever heard once. And then like even a weekend was gone because everybody was like, "Yo, that's mad dumb." So like I don't remember what it was specifically, but he does that from time to time where he would hit like even like when he was done, people were saying like, "Oh, he don't have a plan," during the debate, and it's like. No, I think that was probably the most honest answer I've ever heard a politician say.
That's true.
There, it's working right now. If I got a concept of a plan, I'll change it. If not, if it work, it work. What do you want me to do?
My thing is, since when does the concept mean he has nothing? Kamala didn't even give us an answer.
yeah, she didn't even have anything.
He at least painted a picture for us to be like, hey, maybe if we consider this, and y'all are saying he doesn't know what he's talking
And it's
about.
like, no, like Obamacare right now, after all the changes and whatnot to be the Affordable Care Act, it works somehow, somewhat right now. So if it works right now, everybody like it, why would he go and change it is what he's saying. If it works and I don't have no better plan, I'm going to leave it. And like, well, you don't have a plan. It's like, so you want him to change around Obama's plan? What do you...
To stir the pot and create more problems. But I got to talk about the Trump assassination attempts.
Oh yeah.
All right. There was two happening. The first one, he told me I was in another country and he's like, yo, Trump got shot. I'm like, what? Like, I'm thinking this dude got shot in the chest. Like, I'm thinking, he in the hospital or whatever. I see the video. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And while I researched more and I looked more into it of how like the shooters on the roof didn't see him or like all of a sudden this miscommunication.
You see, now the thing is, like, right? I mean to flex that here, but at this point, I got a master's in cybersecurity, and I work with the government when it comes to security. There is no way in hell that drone would have flew if they didn't give him the permission to fly. If somebody can tell me I'm wrong, I would love anybody in the government to put out a statement and tell me or a PhD candidate I'm wrong. There is no damn way that he would have flew that thing right there if the FAA put a no-fly zone over there, because there'd have been no electronic that could be able to do it. They just wouldn't be able to, because when you start a drone up, it would scan the area, check the internet to see if it's currently in a no-fly zone, and it would never flew.
Exactly.
There's no way that his would have flew unless it wasn't a government-given device. And how I know this is because when the CIA or the Secret Service try to fly their own drone that they bought from the store, it ain't work. So if theirs wasn't working, how was his drone able to fly? I believe somebody from the government gave him that shit.
Not only that,
That's my biggest thing.
I agree with that situation. When it comes to how much guns cost, a lot of things that people don't realize when they lack proper gun information, gun safety. Why would they make him take the most expensive gun that's on the list that they're trying to ban when he could have easily bought a different type of rifle for $400 and still got the job done? It makes no sense. Why are you spending that much money?
Yeah, range finder.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff he had on the gun. That
Grown men who can't afford that.
and the way even looking into his background, it's like it didn't even make sense why he want to just get up and just do something like that. No motive.
These things don't make sense unless you know things like what happened on Ruby Ridge and what happened at Waco, Texas, when it came to these type of situations. At Ruby Ridge, like long story short, the FBI sent an informant into basically a white nationalist community to mess with a guy who wasn't a white nationalist, forced him to buy a gun, all type of shit, and then raided his house afterwards. So they do this. This is something that the FBI and the CIA have been doing, where they would find some dude living in a random place or whatever who's already radicalized in some fashion, like, hey man, I know exactly what you need to do. I can go. All you gotta do is go buy this gun and do this and do that.
The government use the same tactics over and
over. Yeah.
Use the same tactics.
story. They don't.
If Trump would have got shot, that'd have been the exact same thing that happened to JFK.
Shit.
It'd have been the same play out.
It would have been messed up. All right, we're gonna.
He said Iran did it. Next day, Iran did it. We going to war. Like, what?
Yeah, we boom. More spending, destroy the economy. Little intermission there. Yo, this shit is heated right now. This is good shit. Good shit. You know what I mean? The word has to get out. But we're gonna continue where we left off at. So yeah, the Trump's assassinations with the guy that was on the roof. Stage, real, fake. I mean, you were talking about the drones, right? And that, starting up the drone in that area.
My brother works in aeronautics, so like he goes and sets up all the landing stuff and all the lights and ILS stuff at the like almost every airport in America. Like it's his job. He's the only reason planes landing right now. Him and some other people. But yeah, like he does FAA training and a lot of these things all the time. Like if the FAA saw something flying, it wouldn't even be a plane. They would know like immediately. Like you know what I mean? So because the drone would tell it, and the drone would be able to be like, hey man, if they have to do like a handshake with the FAA's system in order to fly in a no-fly zone. Right. The only how you're able to do that is if you have a government clearance to do that, and it has to be like a government program device to do so. So, like I said, if somebody think I'm lying, the FAA could put out something right now and call me lying. The Department of Homeland Security, DOJ, somebody put out something right now and say I'm lying. Because why would he have a drone that could fly, but the Secret Service had to call customer service? Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense. You bought that drone from the store, and obviously wasn't going to fly, but his drone flew from home. Then we find out that this dude who had no internet presence, none of that, somehow became a master hacker to hack the FAA's no-fly zone blanket. And then on top of that, he was able to make wireless trigger bombs at home. Like the dude, the Unabomber couldn't make those. And he was teaching Harvard classes. How is this guy making like trigger bombs and putting them play? This doesn't make any sense. Where was this training coming from? Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why it's like, I believe that if Trump got hit by that bullet, he moved a centimeter. One, we would have lived in the Democratic National Republic of the Congo right now. That's where we'd have been at. But if he had moved his head to the left, the first thing they'd have said, Iran. Iran did it.
Yeah.
Iran trained him. Iran did that. He went to Iran. We got footage. We don't really got footage, but we got footage. They'd have said anything under the sun to make it seem like some foreign nation did this. That's why they probably hot about that one that just happened there, and the dude was a fighter in Ukraine doing Ukraine commercials and shit. They hot about that because that don't look good. That's why Zelensky was over there looking like a beat church mouse yesterday when he was talking.
I found it so funny that he even came to the U.S. to speak to Trump, and he's not even the sitting president right now. That's insane. That's insane. I was like, yo, point blank, he won. He won.
So here's my thing with the Trump assassination attempts. Just think about it. In our lifetime, how many sitting presidents or presidential candidates got, not either got assassinated or somebody attempted to take away their life?
Not one. And my girlfriend's best friend, Portia, brought up something very, very interesting. She was driving here from New York to Texas, and she said, and she didn't know of the assassination attempt until she got here.
She didn't find out till
so I said, so she said, so you mean to tell me when I drove through Texas and I got every alert about whoever kid got taken from somebody, I didn't get a national, like, oh, you know how they had it?
The national alert.
I'm going.
No Amber Alert, no nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, they test this shit on TV every night at 3 o'clock, waking us the fuck up. And the one damn thing outside of a nuclear damn Holocaust that they could have put this thing up for would have been a assassination attempt on the president, or an assassination that went through on our sitting official. It could have been AOC that got shot. And I want to hear it stop every broadcast, stop everything. A politician got shot.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it was.
Big as 9/11.
You would think so. But in 2 weeks, we stopped talking about it.
Exactly.
Yo, you know how quick they stopped talking about it? I'm like, this is not Mexico or someplace. Because even in Mexico, they had one guy was running for mayor and he got clapped. I'm like, this is America. We have the best security. We've spent all this money in protecting our politicians, and for 2 attempts to happen, back to back, that don't sound right.
And they just stopped talking about it.
I personally don't understand. So if the dude came from Ukraine to shoot Trump, and that's such an issue or whatever, why are we still funding Ukraine?
No. See, here's the thing, right? This is the separation. He's an American citizen. He got brainwashed by whatever the hell going on to say he was going to go over to Ukraine to fight. He joined because there's a lot of fighting groups from America in Ukraine right now, but they work as mercenaries. Mm-hmm. So
because the U.S. doesn't want to put U.S. boots on the ground out there.
They tell you that, but they will hire every mercenary group going to man, God, and creation. I got a lot of friends that work in the military, and then they get out. The first thing they go do is work for mercenary groups because they pay the most.
They get that cash.
Why do you think they just caught two Americans in Venezuela last week trying to kill Maduro? They do this religiously. They just do that. And so whenever there's something happened, like, well, America was a part of that.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
They've been doing that the entire time. There's boots on the ground. Like that, they won't tell Americans that because we don't send the army to the ground, but they have boots on the ground. They got CIA on the ground. They got every mercenary and a lot of vets on the ground over there. And that's why he went. He went to go join one of those mercenary veteran groups to fight. So Ukraine is basically saying we had nothing to do with that, even though Ukraine is the one funding that mercenary group that's over there fighting.
Wow. I mean,
one thing about the Ukraine war, I've always said this. Honestly, I don't see how that war ends without Ukraine giving up some form of territory.
They have to.
I'm like, Kamala is saying they're going to continue to fund them because they need to remain independent. But I'm like, you're talking about Putin. He is not stopping until he gets.
This go on long enough. It's going to happen either two ways. This go on long enough. Putin's people are going to be like, this war going on too long. We might have to throw Putin out of office. Putin going to win this war tomorrow. How we do that? They're going to be a hot nuke on Ukraine.
Just about to say that. He's going to push the button.
That's not the case. If he starts losing for real, he can't fucking have that. What do you think he's going to do? A hot nuke on Ukraine. Anywhere you put this, that's where that goes. So this war don't end nowhere without Ukraine turning into glass. That's all I'm saying. That's why he looked like that. He noticed this don't got nowhere to go. We funding this thing going, and we funding the money pit. This not going nowhere.
Yo,
Ukraine look like Pompeii tomorrow if Putin had his way with it.
Putin was like, yeah, I want. They asked him, who do you want to win the presidential election in the U.S.? He's like, yeah, I don't want Kamala to win. I was like, yeah, because he knows.
She got a great laugh.
He's like, this dude knows she's not gonna stand up to him. She's not, and all the other international leaders are not gonna respect her. You know what I mean? America is not ready for.
They didn't respect Obama. Remember when Obama was going to China and stuff? They had nobody meeting him at the airport. None of that. There was no red carpet.
The disrespect.
They his ass like a regular dude. They don't care. They didn't respect him.
They already don't respect Kamala. Look how they have her out here embarrassing herself.
The Chinese have a thing called, not even the Chinese, almost all of East Asia got a thing called warrior diplomacy. They not going to want no talk, no jutsu when you walk up over there about the betterment of society. No, you got to tell them, yo, you don't do this shit, I'm going to blow your ass the hell up tonight. That's the only language they understand. That's the language they talking to Obama with. And Obama talking about, let's not go there.
What Trump was saying?
Trump pulled up to these dudes and said, hey, there's a picture of your house. Do what I told you to do.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say.
That's what he does. That's what the language they understand. He did that shit to Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un started saying, thank you, Donald Trump, Emperor Trump. He know what language they
Trump was threatening Kim Jong-un.
And that man, quiet down.
He was like,
quiet
Rocket Man,
down.
I'm going to blow that shit up to smithereens.
That man made Kim Jong-un go lose weight.
He got depressed. Yo, and that's the thing. Like, under Biden, right? We have the China and Taiwan conflict. We have the Israel Hamas issue, which now just went left, and we're all bombing and killing all the leaders in Hezbollah.
We got a Venezuela-Guyana issue.
We got a Ukraine Russia issue, and it's like. How within the 3 years, he is like the 4 years, you have all these damn conflicts. All these conflicts.
You're going to pass it on to whoever.
My brother said it the best. He did 8 years of damage before.
Yeah. Basically, like, yo, we just got done with the whole Afghanistan, Iraq stuff. And like, boom, within a couple of months, we just right back into another war again?
Yep. And Janet Yellen talking about, we could afford 3 wars.
That's how they get our money. They literally tell us that we have to fund a war, write a bill that people are not going to read, and then flood a bunch of money into their pockets.
And then they would jack, and then even that. And I was telling Kira, they hide these type of information in layers because it's like there's going to be people who don't know why this happened and just want war to stop, and then there's going to be like, well, the people who know that they got defense and military, whole states that work off defense and military contracts know that we got to do something with these damn rockets, and it's like it makes no sense to me that politics would be in people's heads so much that we would You want the war to stop, but you don't want to use the rocket technology for anything else like what Elon Musk want to use it for, because you hate Elon Musk because you're going for Trump. But you want the Ukraine war to stop. But your state run off of building bombs. Democrats were just in Pittsburgh. That was in Pittsburgh, just in PA signing bombs. Like this World War II or something.
Yo, it's
Like,
getting
so
hectic.
like we had it, like I would definitely say we could repurpose a lot of the technology we're using for military shit for like space exploration or deep sea exploration, something. We don't gotta use it to blow people the hell up. You know what I mean? Like the funding for that don't gotta be for that. But if the powers that be gonna trick you and say, hey man, we gotta land 4 bombs on you on Yemen, they gonna buy 4 bombs on Yemen because you just gonna believe it. The one thing like I always think about when it comes to the Israel, like especially the Israel war thing, like I could believe Israel all I want, but I've never seen at one point Israel showed an image or anything of any of them like bump, like what do they call them, like the technology or whatnot that the Hezbollah or anybody has hidden underneath.
Yo, yeah.
Like,
All them tunnels and all, yeah.
I've said it to you guys at this point. They have blown up so many kids. They have blown up so many damn like hospitals and whatnot. Just show me one. Give me the propaganda to believe in at this point. That there is a freaking bomb. Give me the propaganda to believe it. Show me you walk down there and there was a bomb or a truck that would shoot out the AA gun or some shit in a garage. They have never done this, and they would blow up an entire city and be like, "Well, there was 4 terrorists that was playing in the park."
Yeah, but then the collateral is all 50 children.
Like 50,000 people, and we're supposed to be like, "Oh, you know, war is war," and it's like for 4 people.
Yeah, what was it? What was it? I woke up one morning and I went on my phone and they had like a list of all the top generals that they killed and eliminated. I'm like, yo, how they move that swift? Like they just wasn't wasting no time.
I want everybody to know that's propaganda, because I don't know if people understand. Like, if the Taliban has taught us anything as a country, I don't know if Israel knows this. The Taliban has taught us anything as a country. You could cut off the head of this Hydra 1,000 times; it does not matter. The Taliban still won the Afghanistan war. You could cut off the head of this Hydra. We've been bombing them. We blew up mountains. We was leveling mountains like we were building trains or some shit. We was doing everything under the sun to blow the Taliban out the sky. And the Taliban still won that war. It does not matter. Like, the Muslims are the most devout group of people known to man, God, and creation. They will throw their kids at this shit. They don't care. This is the truth. You don't believe me? Look at all the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. They will throw their kids at this shit. And even if they won't throw their kids at this shit, when their kids see you kill their daddy, they gonna throw themselves at this shit.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have to stand up for their family.
Yeah,
regardless.
That's what they see it as. They don't see it as as anything else than that. All they remember is their granddad talking about some Israelis kicked them out their house and they getting bombed for it.
Which is the same thing that you were talking about earlier, where Black Americans, they see these migrants, and they're angry, and they can't tell the difference from who's who. They just know they're angry because they feel like something was taken from them.
Right. That's on point on that one. Like, and this is a good segue because this one topic really pissed me the fuck off. Like, the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, this shit had me on fucking 10, yo. And I'm like, we had the one moment in history coming off the fucking pandemic, even going through the pandemic. Nobody working, nobody doing nothing, people going out marching, whatever, I understand, boom. But then, in the end, what the fuck did we get out of that?
Not a goddamn thing.
See, and we talked about this on the podcast so much. This was a time where everybody was focused on Black issues, where everybody, no matter what race or group,
we were finally heard.
Yeah, we were heard. They were like standing by us. And then look at the corruption that came out of that shit.
What that woman did with the money now?
Buying houses, cars.
Houses in LA for a family.
Yo, houses in Canada, houses all
over. We had everybody listening. Remember in like the NFL, they had Black Lives Matter on the field, NBA. They're doing everything. Everybody's paying attention.
Yep.
And then
and the crazy part about it is, I feel like that was a government too, because a lot of the cases that they tried to make us like react to when it came to Black Lives Matter, some of these Black people did some shit. Some of them did, some of them didn't. Like, for example, Philando Castile ain't do a damn thing, and they shot his ass in his car for no reason in front of his kid and his wife.
But yet somehow the cop went free agree.
Brianna,
I'm not understanding.
However, Breonna Taylor was hiding the body in the damn V, and then hiding drugs in her bed for a boyfriend. Not even the one she was sleeping with. The one who was in jail.
She was still fucking her ex-boyfriend.
You can't have it both ways.
And then when you tell people this, the first thing people told me, don't speak on the dead. But if you don't want your daughters to get into a similar situation, you need to help her understand. If you're going to lay with sleeping dogs, you'll catch fleas.
Yeah. And that's what happened. They didn't come in her house because of the Kenneth Walker who shot her. Like, we looked at everything else in that situation, Breonna Taylor, except one thing. Kenneth Walker right now is the only black person outside of Tupac that shot a cop and lived.
He got out of jail because
and got out of jail with no charges.
Yo.
Like, that's the one thing we ain't looking at for some reason.
Hold on. Before we leave this topic, I want to speak to that, especially as someone who they fear. I notice the fear mongering they do when they tell us to fear cops. I completely understand when people don't feel comfortable with cops. I get it. You don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
But let's be honest. In that situation, y'all like to sit here. That was around the same time when what's her name? Megan Thee Stallion got shot by Tory Lanez.
Right.
That around the same time. And her whole shtick that she was promoting was black men don't protect black women and this and that and whatever. But Kenneth Walker was a black man who protected his black woman. He shot a cop for his woman.
Oh, that is true.
She was helping with a body in the car.
But we're not going to pay attention to that. We're going to ignore it. It doesn't go along with the story that we're trying to paint for black people so we could trick them into brainwash them into following.
The summer love rides. How that went down. Like, that should have never. I don't know. Can't say what could have happened to Derek Chauvin because the jury appears going to vote on whatever they vote on. I don't know. I can't say how much it needed to do or don't help you breathing on the ground. I don't think it helped very much, but I wasn't on the jury. All I can say is, I'm going to tell y'all, as a person that has done my fair share of drugs in my lifetime, you take a speedball of meth and what he had, like cocaine, meth, and some other downers, you don't die. It don't matter what a dude do. They could have left him. When they showed the whole video, he was already hyperventilating and dying in the back of the car before they took him out and put him on the
Now, that doesn't mean that the cop wasn't wrong. It just means both things can be true.
At the same time,
knee on the back and having all those drugs at one time, you're not living. You're not going to breathe.
Ain't no way he breathing.
There's no... Nah.
That dude was speedballing off of fentanyl, coke, and meth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they even got the picture going around now on Twitter with like him with the speedball in his mouth. So he swallowed that and he was gonna die regardless. It did not matter if the knee was on his back or not.
And look, Candace Owens revealed a lot of that. She did a whole documentary on it.
Candace Owens did a whole documentary on that. Like, the crazy part about it, that's the type of propaganda that will go around and tell you, because like the situation now with like during the riots with the that little boy that they try to make it seem like he shot black people. He didn't shoot no black people.
Fuck.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah. Like he shot black people. He shot a pedophile and another person who was trying to shoot his arm off with the gun.
Who admitted he shot him. He admitted he shot at Kyle Rittenhouse on the stand. Yep. And I'm like, so wait a minute. You mean to tell me that this is a teenage boy? He went out of his way to try to help his community. He was also, again, during the Black Lives Matter
and
movement,
people gonna tell you before all that situation, he was a leftist. He went out there to help Black Lives Matter.
That's what he was doing.
People won't tell you before that whole situation, he was a leftist.
The people were rioting. He went to go help. And they're like, oh.
It was an immigrant family that sent him down there to protect the auto business that they own.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he was protecting the auto shop that was there. But yeah, I mean, like, because when I look back to a lot of the major movements that has happened in this country, is like this was one of those. That was one of those periods for black people to at least assemble, get something going, have an actual organization aside from the scamming NAACP, right? Where we could have got a lot of shit done.
You know, not for nothing. When the NAACP was ran by that lady Rachel Dolezal, that was the first time that the first couple like days of the protest, we actually had they actually put out like a decent list of things they wanted the police to do in order to do whatever. And it's like the day after that, they were like, she's white.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something right now.
That shit was mad funny. But I was saying to Kira, they owe Rachel Dolezal an apology if Kamala Harris black. That's all I'm saying.
No, for real.
That is so true.
Kamala black. That's
it
all I'm
turns
saying.
out Kamala is East Indian and Irish. Her daddy is Jamaican and by location. Not to take away from his culture, because obviously he lives in Jamaica. I'm not going to disrespect him like that. But in terms of genetics, that woman is not black.
I mean, like, she grew up with her Indian mom, like,
in Canada.
so I'm like, you're gonna identify with that more.
She don't even identify with West Indians for real.
She don't even identify with Americans. She's Canadian.
And then there was a thing you sent me too, the photo that she had with some lady, and they were doing the math. Like, how can you be with someone that already died?
You guys just don't want her to be black so bad. And I'm like, not y'all the same ones that be calling Trinidadians coolies.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yo.
That's what I'm saying. Every other normal day, we can have a normal conversation about this. We get to election cycle time and anybody's saying dumb shit.
Hold on, I got you. This is what frustrates me with people. As a West Indian, as a child of a West Indian, bro, y'all could sit here and I could understand how Black Americans may not entirely sometimes understand the culture of how multiracial West Indian children can be. So sitting here listening to y'all be like, oh, you don't want her to be black. Or other children of West Indian children, and we're looking at her like, so we act like coolies ain't a thing? What are we doing here?
Like white Jamaicans
Come
are
on,
a
bro.
Asian, Chinese Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got every damn Jamaican restaurant got a Miss Chin in there. She a Jamaican person.
Yeah.
Been living in Jamaica 3 generations in Chinese.
Yeah, see, my thing about it too with Kamala, nobody really give a damn if she's black, white, whatever. It's just you all this time you recognize as Indian American. When you was appointed as senator, it was like Indian American, first Indian American
woman, not first black Indian American woman.
I don't care about shorty race. Just don't disrespect me. I feel like you're making a mockery. And it's you, again, what you guys mentioned earlier. You guys complain about race, but be the first ones on it. Like, what are we doing here?
People like to complain about the Republican Party, but the Republican Party ain't give a fuck if Vivek Ramaswamy was right or black.
Exactly.
That's another thing.
Exactly.
She didn't have to say any of that. Kamala Harris could have been an Indian woman. If she came with good policies, I'd have voted for her.
Thank you.
Vivek came out and told you who he is.
Like the BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color, ain't that y'all thing? Why does she have to lie
You don't have
about
to
being
lie
black?
about being black. Yeah,
She
she
could have
could
stayed
have stayed Indian. I don't see the problem.
Yeah, because she, again, they know
She needs the black vote. That's
she
what it
needed
is.
that black vote, and she needed to
That's
say,
why it's-
and another thing. Oh, she made collard greens in the tub.
In a bathtub.
Wait, who the hell do that? Who the? Yo, the disrespect.
I've
The
never met a black
disrespect.
person that done that shit.
I'm like, yo, you can't do that. You can't do that now.
Bro, in the bathroom, you telling us you cook in the bathroom? You trying to say black people dirty?
No, first off, you lying ass bitch, you West Indian ass.
Yo,
You eat collard greens for real? You don't even eat no damn collard greens.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You eat no collard greens, you lying.
Yo, that's the same shit I said on the podcast. I was like, you West Indian, ain't nobody talking about it making collard greens.
Like what?
No damn collard greens.
No, bro. I would understand if she said Canada.
Oh my
No, I
God.
have yet to hear this woman talk about royalty. I have yet to hear her talk
That's what
about.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a fact. Roti, none of that shit.
Because- and at least the black African, like the black people who are here one night and been chilling with West Indians, people like, oh, I could identify with that, but she won't do that. She gotta be black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
So I just don't understand. I feel like black people are just too accepting and too open arms with everybody, man. Like, oh, you want to recognize us? Like, yeah, we're going to welcome you, man. And it's just like, come on, y'all. It's like, come on. Like,
I feel like black people don't want to be wrong. I think that's what it is.
No, I think they're afraid. Like, okay, they draw this line between the red and blue. Oh, I can't vote for somebody that's on a Republican because that means I'm a racist or.
But we have a lot of conservative values.
But my thing is this: it's who gives a fuck? Blue, red, white, green, whatever. If somebody's speaking shit that makes sense.
That's why I said
Shit.
if Kamala came with policy, Kamala could have been an Indian. She could have had a little red dot, all that. I would've
Yeah,
voted for her.
exactly. As long as it made sense.
It
If what
doesn't
you
make
saying,
sense.
if you're addressing the problems that we are having that affects my day-to-day life, I'm gonna say, yeah, that candidate, aligns with some of the shit that I want to get done. Regardless of what party it is. But there's so much damn party loyalty. This lady go on TV, can't even do a impromptu interview.
it's terrible. Even when she talked with Zelensky the other day, she's looking down and speaking. I'm like, come on, Kamala. You can't even just speak from the heart.
And what Trump did, speaking to reporters with Zelensky, he's actually talking to the reporters, talking to the American
he was
people.
looking at Zelensky like this. I told you that rule, motherfucker.
I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, this is the woman that y'all picking, man. It's like, come on, like I just don't understand. And then a couple of months ago, everybody hated Kamala.
Yep.
People said she was the worst VP in history.
They had a whole poll on it. She's the worst vice president in history.
So I don't understand how all of a sudden. Oh, I think it's because of this whole woman thing. She black people identify with the first black woman. That's just all they want. That's just what they want.
Politics.
The accolade.
So it's identity politics.
I also have a theory that I was explaining to Zav as well on another thing that I perceive, at least me personally. I feel like black people have an issue with standing up to Kamala and the Democrats because they don't like standing up to their parents when they're wrong. Think about it. Black people, or just people in general, they sometimes grow up in homes where their parents would say and treat them a certain way, and then it's like when they get to a certain age, they don't want to stand up and be like, hey, this not cool, or you're wrong, or this or that. They feel like it's disrespect. So it's like, even if you be like, hey, yo, the Democrat Party, what are you doing? Apparently it's disrespect to what they've been forced to believe, what's been beaten into them for so long.
To your point, you don't see they try to shame that girl on CNN before that guy tried to slide in her inbox talking about you saying Kamala Harris' name wrong and whatnot? That's what it is. They be trying to shame you for that shit.
Yeah. Like I always tell people, stay away from the mainstream media because all they're doing is lying to you. And all the surface level voters, that's where they get all the information from. So they're just going to believe CNN, MSNBC, ABC, like, oh, Trump is this bad man. He's a racist. He's not for the people. But I'm like, when you actually go and like look up at the information for yourself, I always say that informed voter, you're voting for Donald Trump. Like, if you actually know what's going on, there is no way you would sit there and still
Whether
say,
you like him or not.
Exactly. And then I don't know why. It's like, look. There is no accountability. I keep saying this. Nobody's holding her accountable for anything that's been happening in the last 3.5 years. It's like she's running as if she's a person on the outside instead of somebody who's currently in office.
And the crazy part is that, like, I hate when people tell me, oh, well, she's vice president, she'd have that many power. If anything, the vice president got more power legislatively than the damn president does. If anything. She had 33 tie-breaking votes in Congress. 33 tie-breaking votes. If she wanted to get that bill passed with the damn thing, she could have fixed it and got it passed in a minute. Because if they tied on it, she could have broke it easily. She had 33 tie-breaking votes in Congress. She got to be the one to run into these meetings with Zelensky and whatnot when Biden is not in thing. She's standing right next to the president. She is the one who was the border czar set by Biden himself. He gave her that fake title to go deal with the border because he didn't want to deal with it.
I remember when they would ask her, "Did you ever go to the border?" And like,
I never been to France.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm like, come on now.
Like you playing on
face. Saw she was at the border now for 20 minutes. Like the border patrol was down pissed. Like they were saying, we thought we was gonna show her the problem one night. She came for 4 photos and left.
Yo.
You gotta let them know. You know what that reminds me of? Those cartoons we used to watch all the time about presidents kissing babies.
Oh yeah, that definitely was a thing.
They used to come, and then one of them, they had like the little sticker, and then they just popped it on the baby head with the little kiss. That's what she's doing. It's a photo op.
Yo, so I got one last question here. Yo, this is some good ass content that we got. Like, so the election is 36 days away. We're almost there. You know what I mean? November, this September just went like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know the answer, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Do you think Trump is gonna win this election?
I do. The only thing I'm scared about is Pennsylvania. Really? Like
me too. I'm worried about Pennsylvania.
But like the polls coming out of Pennsylvania is pretty good, and Trump usually overachieves when it comes to like whatever the polling was. So I think they'll grow pretty well. I remember Fetterman actually. I think they had tried to interview John Fetterman and was like trying to trick him, saying like, "Hey, we see Kamala winning in the polls. You think Kamala got in Pennsylvania?" This dude was like, "Where the fuck Kamala winning in Pennsylvania?" If the governor don't even believe she winning in here, I don't think Kamala winning in Pennsylvania. And if she lose Pennsylvania, I don't think she win anything else. But the one state I think gonna trick everybody, bro. In my opinion, I think everybody looking at swing states. The one state that will probably make everybody go crazy is Illinois. I think Illinois going. Because I remember, like, there were people in City Hall telling Brandon Johnson, I can't wait to vote y'all Democrats.
Yeah.
I was looking
They was lighting him up. Oh, my
They
gosh.
was lighting this dude up. So I don't know if Illinois going to go up in there and vote Democrat this time. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because them black people up there, too, they was barking at this man. Yeah.
Happy, so, I mean, I'm going to give my hope to Chicago, winning this election. That sounds like a far off thing, but I think that probably be the state that surprised everybody. And if they do, I said it here first.
Right on the podcast, Straight Up R&D.
I definitely believe Trump is going to win. I'm seeing a lot of people that would have never had the balls to even say that they're even voting for Trump, let alone acknowledge what's been happening in front of our eyes, in front of other people, if they weren't sick of this shit. I feel like we're the new adults now. We can't blame the boomers anymore. We have to blame ourselves and take accountability for the way the economy has gotten. Like, we can't sit here and be like, oh, we don't know what's going on. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If you wake up and you go outside and you look at how everybody is going in your community, you know what's going on. You know what your choice is. If you feel like you still want to vote for Kamala after sitting here and having the Palestinian flag in your bio, but still going to go and vote for the same person that caused that genocide, just make sure you eat it and you own it when you make that decision. Don't act like you don't know what's going on. Don't be like, how was I supposed to know? You knew. You made your decision.
Everything was in front of you.
Fight or not. It's a choice. We have the choice. It's either you do or you don't.
I just feel like I know they always say this shit, like how the election is the most important election. And
they always say that.
I think for this one, dog, it's not, I wouldn't say it's the most important election of our lifetime. I would say that, remember the Roman Republic. There was many points you could say where it fell, but just remember at every point of that, it was falling. So it's either we extend this country for another 50 or we end this bitch in 5. You can pick your decision in November.
Oh man. Listen. At the end of the day, we gotta do what we think is best for us. Because at the end of the day, the money is what pays the bills. We have lives to live. We only have one life to live, and we can only. I feel like now after this whole election stuff is done, more people are going to be more mindful that they should vote in their local elections. Like this cycle has really brought more people out thinking, oh, what about this? What about this? And understanding, all right, there's that federal level, then there's my state level, then there's my mayor. It goes down to your mayor, your county, like a lot of stuff. So in a way, this is good, but it's just a damn shame it took this damn long for people to fucking realize.
Yeah.
Especially when we learned about yellow belly journalism in school. Like, what? The same people that be like, oh my God, I can't believe Hitler was able to convince all those people to do what they did. And look at you.
No, yeah, because there's a word for that. It's like what George Orwell said is double think. You know what I mean? They can think in one way and then the media can tell them something and it doesn't break the reality of which one is true. That's so it's just how they operate in life. They could go around and saying Margaret Sanger is the like one of the cold black people, but we need to do what we want to do with our body, even though it's stupidity, but it's the way they think. It's how they move forward. I don't think what it is. I don't think that the people that think like that are a major voice at all. I just think they had a lot of power for a long period of time. And so I'm hoping that with this election and some other cultural stuff moving forward, they just get back to being the small voice they were. So we don't have to, bother all the society with their bullshit anymore.
Also, I just want to add before we close up real quick, at least this is just a small bit I want people to remember. At least that's how I see it. When it comes to your body, your choice, and women not wanting to have families, and they be like, well, it's my body. I should be selfish. I shouldn't have to do nothing. I don't owe nobody nothing. The same people that say that, and you fighting for Mother Nature, please understand that this world, Mother Nature, she's not obligated to have us enjoy her resources, but it definitely helps.
Right. And I always say,
if you want to have a family, you can help the community by having a family, by contributing to how families grow. It's okay. I'm not saying every single woman in the world has to have a kid. I'm not saying that. But realistically, the majority should if you want people to continue existing.
Yeah.
And I always say, too, is like, all right, you saying my body, my choice, but who's fighting for the body of the unborn? Who's fighting for the body that's, in a woman's stomach who can't obviously say anything but is alive?
that body doesn't have a voice, doesn't have a choice. I watched a video of a woman who had a premature baby at like 30 something weeks, and she said her baby came out with arms, legs, and it was a living, breathing human being. But at that point, if she wanted to, she could have still had an abortion.
Yep.
And it's scary to like how far we got here where we're not even respecting human life anymore.
Yeah,
it's
I
life.
don't understand like that. That's why we keep saying at this point, like we feel it's a spiritual battle of these things, because like at some point it's like, especially how people going around like disrespecting like major religions and stuff like this too while they're doing it. I genuinely feel as if there's some type of like demonic force at work doing this nonsense.
Yes.
Like it just doesn't make any sense that anything is coming from anything other than that. And even if there is no such things as demons or anything else, the people that are doing this believe that there are, and that's why they're doing it. That's the only reason I'm saying it. They believe that they're serving some greater negative purpose, and that is why they're doing it.
Yep.
And that's the only thing I gotta say about that.
Hey, I hear you. I got one curveball for y'all, and and it's I want you guys to come up with a question for the next guest that's gonna come on our show. Like it could be any type of question, anything that you want. So, you know, you both can come up with your own question or agree on one question, but just give us a question that when the next person come on, we'll ask them that question.
I would think my question to them would be like, I think the same question Trump was asking, like, were you better under this administration or the last one? Right. That's the only question I think everybody need to be drilled in everybody's head at this point, because like my mom said, I believe that Americans have this like short-term memory loss when it comes to like election cycles or something. And I would just want to remember, like, I want y'all to remember, was it better now when eggs and milk are $8, or was it better 4 years ago when it was $1.20 for gas? So that's the only question I got, really.
I guess my question is, why does Canada get to close their borders but we don't?
That's a good one.
That's a great question.
That's a great question. Well, Xavier, Kira, thanks for joining the show. I really appreciate you guys putting the time together. This was like a really good episode, and
gotta have y'all back on.
Gotta have you guys back on again. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm free anytime. Just let me know.
Yeah. This was amazing, especially when after the election, we gotta get you guys back on.
I'm thinking shit. We could probably do a stream election night.
No, yeah, that too. We were talking about that. We were talking about setting that shit up. But
that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks again for coming on the show. This is Straight Up R&D Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Sound off. We've been checking the comments in the past couple of videos, especially with them Trump Kamala debate videos we got, and man, it's like World War II in the comment section. But definitely let us know what you think. I'm Rich, signing out.
D, signing out.
See you guys in the next one. Deuces.